Right now, there are wildfires that are burning through millions of acres of land across the United States and Canada. Same thing, by the way, in Europe. Spain and France are both experiencing their biggest wildfires ever on record, forcing hundreds of thousands of people to evacuate. Also, Greece and Turkey and parts of the United Kingdom are trying to contain outbreaks there. And you will not be surprised to hear that climate change is fueling all of it. The massive flames, the black skies you see on the news, or you might have seen firsthand yourself, depending on where you live, including here in New York, are the direct result of hotter and drier conditions. There's dead grass, there's brush, trees essentially turning into kindling, awaiting, any tiny spark to light it up and spread, as the phrase goes, like wildfire. I saw all of this firsthand in my hometown of Los Angeles last year while I was covering the costliest wildfire event in American history. I cannot emphasize how catastrophic the conditions were, how eerie and terrifying it was to watch flames engulf entire communities, virtually wiping them off the map. And things are getting worse. According to a recent study by UCLA researchers, high-severity fires in California burned 30 times more acreage than they did some 40 years ago in 1985. So why am I telling you all of this? Climate change might be the root cause, but this current administration is making it pretty easy for these fires to become as destructive and as frequent as possible. I wrote about this in my book, Firestorm, about this administration's attempt to, quote, refute, dismantle, or outright eliminate valuable resources within the federal government's arsenal to communicate about, respond to, mitigate, and prevent disasters. The impacts are being felt even more acutely right now. Do you remember Doge, Elon Musk's brainchild that laid off hundreds of thousands of federal workers and destroyed multiple federal programs? We are still talking about that brainchild today on this show because many areas involved in those Doge cuts are currently on fire. Let's zoom out a little bit. In 2024, the Biden administration invested $100 million to fight the national wildfire crisis. Part of that went to Superior National Forest in Minnesota, which was planning on spending millions of approved grant dollars to remove decades of dead trees and undergrowth. They were, in the words of the former Forest Service District Ranger Aaron Kania, quote, shovel ready. Then Doge came in swinging, laying off around a third of the Forest Service staff there, slashing funding, and in the process, delaying that grant that was supposed to thin out some 4,000 acres of Minnesota forest. You know what happened to that work? Most of it never got started, according to 5 people who spoke with the Washington Post. The White House and the U.S. Forest Service did not reply for comment. And now that area, check it out, it's getting torched. Just this month, wildfires have burned through tens of thousands of acres in Minnesota, across parts of the Superior National Forest and along a 36-mile gravel road known as Echo Trail. The funding that Doge postponed would have covered wildfire reduction efforts in both of those areas. That same former district ranger told the Washington Post, quote, had that work been implemented, it would have been effective in stopping or slowing down these fires. Now they are doing it under emergency conditions, and that is the most expensive way to do this work imaginable. The most expensive way imaginable. So much for government efficiency. Joining me now is Aaron Kania himself. He is a former district ranger and former wildland firefighter. He is also a candidate for the Minnesota House of Representatives. It's so great to see you. And I gather the way you just saw fly overhead, am I right, was maybe a firefighting aircraft?
It was. You can't plan that.
Wow. Thanks for being here, and thank you for speaking up. It sounds like a little bit of I told you so. What is it like seeing these fires in Minnesota right now, when you guys had laid the groundwork to help prevent them before Doge got involved?
Yeah, it's really frustrating. I think some of the videos and photos you showed, it doesn't look like that right now. The firefighters have made a lot of progress. They've been really effective. And there's teams in place now. There's safety measures in place now. So we're in a better place. But this is the time to reflect back on what did happen over the last 18 months and how, if things had gone different, the outcome for attacking these fires would be different as well.
Walk us through a little bit of the timeline here, because you all won this $10 million grant in 2024, and then DOJ pauses it in early 2025. Were you able to do any of the work that you had planned?
No, none of that work was implemented before the fires. Pretty much all of that work is being implemented now. I just looked this morning, and the cost of these fires is up to $35 million. We have 1,100 firefighters in the area, thankfully, that they're prioritizing this fire. But could those firefighters have been doing something else? Could that fire have been stopped in less acres? And then all of those impacts to our neighbors and our community, where they may not have had to have been evacuated, or their trips canceled, or the closure of the boundary waters. The outcomes we could predict would have been better had that work been done before the fires.
I was talking a lot about this when I went on my book tour after the fires in LA. The cuts that the Trump administration made to agencies like NOAA, where they got rid of the $1 billion disaster registry, so we never knew the cost of the fire in LA officially, or the meteorologists at the National Weather Service, or even at NIOSH, the Occupational Safety and Health, that studies firefighter deaths in the wake of events like this. They weren't sort of directly related very specifically in the moment to the actual flames and making them greater. But this seems to be different from that because what you're saying directly is, had this work been done, these fires may not be, or you seem pretty convinced that they wouldn't be what you've all experienced in Minnesota.
Yeah, we use science. We looked at the risk on the landscape. We prioritized what was the highest risk, which is the probability of something happen and then the cost of that thing happening. And we took action. We had community support. We had the plan. We had all the environmental paperwork, and then we had the money. So I think what's really important here, and the lesson is, and this is why I'm running for the Minnesota House as well, is we need to take politics out of this, right? We just need action. We need that fire break more than politics. And this community here works together. We had unity. Everybody was on the same page, and it was ready to go.
Do you believe Elon Musk or Donald Trump or any of the people that have made these decisions know anything about what it's like to combat a wildland fire?
I couldn't speculate on that. I just know what I'm capable of, what our community is capable of. We have a really good plan, and again, I really think taking the politics out is the right way to go here. We can come together, we can work together, and this would have really helped us and helped our community.
Let's talk about firefighter morale, because at the end of the day, it's the firefighters that we need. And there's a group that I've gotten to know called Grassroots Wildland Firefighters. It's an advocacy group. And they reached out to federal wildland firefighters to get their take. They say about, 3/4 of them considered quitting in the last year. I saw how difficult it was when I went up to the Pacific Northwest, and I was with Ben McLean, a firefighter up there in the middle of the winter, when he talked to me about putting together a crew during the hiring freeze. What's driving the frustration that we're seeing from the wildland firefighters right now?
Well, it's really just being spread thin. That a lot of our leadership, they're wearing 2 or 3 hats. Our firefighters themselves, there's vacancies on the engines, and so they're having to do more work. That work is actually less safe because you have a less effective force out there. And then just coming to work, some of the language that we heard last year with the fork in the road, like, why don't you go out and get a real job? Mm-hmm. When you're a firefighter, you're an emergency responder. The community thanks us, the community appreciates us, but then what we're hearing from the inside is not connected to that reality. And so it's hard to get up and go to work in the morning, be away from your family, and do hard work. Like, this is incredibly hard work. You're putting your life in danger. Like, you want to know that your government supports you and appreciates what you're doing.
I mean, and I've gotten to see up close how hard the work is. You all sleep out there in the fire breaks. If you're sleeping at all, the stuff that you are inhaling is getting deadlier than ever. I just want to give you a very quick, we only have 30 seconds left, but a chance to talk about your run for the Minnesota House of Representatives and why you've decided to take this path.
Yeah, exactly. When these cuts were happening, I was reaching out to some of our local state representatives, and the response I heard was, well, we need to cut the fat. Nothing bad has happened yet. And that wasn't acceptable. Like, if you're going to be a leader in a community, you need to stand up for your community. I have that knowledge to bring forward and bring people together so that we can best serve our community.
Well, keep us posted on this race. Very eager to see how it turns out. And thanks for all the work that you have done as a firefighter. Aaron Kania, former wildland firefighter and candidate for the House of Representatives in Minnesota. Appreciate it.